Alrighty, so as you can see, my space has gotten pretty messy because I've been swatching some paints that I have. I have used them before, but I just wanted to swatch them properly to get a good look at the colors because today I'm planning on revamping my travel paint palette. I've used this for watercolors for a couple of years now, but I think I'm going to change over to gouache, and so I just want to give this a nice little refresh. It's been well loved, and you'll see that once we get inside, especially. But this is something I made about 3 years ago. I made it out of an old cigarette case that my partner owned, but he doesn't smoke anymore, so I got to claim it as my own. But let's get a look inside. Let me show you guys what I've done with it. So it's very messy right now, but like I said, it's been very well loved. It's about the only thing I really use to paint now because I'm usually too lazy to use wet media. But what I've done actually is these are old eyeshadow palettes, like all the metal bits are just from old eyeshadows that I had and cleaned out because I didn't have any wells at the time. And then I put them all in there, and then I used a oven baked clay to really fill in the space there because I didn't want all these gaps. And so it's stained, it's wrecked, it's in need of some love. So that's what I'm planning on giving it today. And I thought I'd show you guys. But yeah, these are all watercolors that I just piped in there from these kind of tubes. And then this is where I mix my paint. And yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to leave you guys to have some nice ASMR, I think. So I'm going to stop talking. So enjoy those crunchy noises. That's my palette all cleaned up and revamped. It's looking much happier than it was before. I've got a cool and a warm tone for all my primaries there for my color mixing. And yeah, and I actually don't want to hear anyone tell me that I'm not allowed to use white and black in watercolor style paintings because you can rip that from my cold dead hands. I don't care. Okay, so it's been a couple of days and I've let it dry. I think you can tell that it's gotten pretty like crackly since like obviously all the moisture has gotten out of it, but I think as I use it, it'll kind of settle into itself a bit more. So I thought it'd be fun to go test it out today. There's this flower stand down the street that I've been meaning to paint because it's really cute. So I thought I'd bring you along with me while I painted so we could see how this goes. Yay! So I've never seen anyone at this flower stand before. And of course today, the day that I plan to like go and paint it, there's like 3 different cars there. So I got way too nervous to pull in. I bought myself a little Macca's brekkie. So I'm just going to sit here and eat it and hope that when I go back they're gone. But we'll see. So this is the flower stand I drive by every day on my way to work. I just think it's so stinking cute. It's out in the middle of this beautiful field. It's got these huge signs that I thought would visually look really good in a painting. So I'm glad to be sitting down today and getting started. It's been something I've been meaning to do for a while and I just keep putting it off, putting it off. So it's good to sit down and get the paints out and try my new palette out. So you can see my setup for my plein air is quite often this, where I sit in my car on the side of the road somewhere and paint something from the safety of my own car. I just feel a lot more comfortable when I'm one, in a good seat, but then also if I'm sitting in my car, people are less likely to approach me, ask me what I'm doing because I don't mind painting in public, but sometimes I can feel a little nervous, especially because the plein air stage has so many ugly phases. And this time especially because I'm filming myself, so people would expect much better results, I think. Okay, so I got my initial sketch just to get my proportions and composition down because it's something I struggle to get right when I just slap paint on the page. But I think it looks okay. Yeah. That is so sad. I can't believe I got that on video. I meant to pick that pen cap up before I left, but I totally forgot. So I got all the way home before I remembered it. I started getting haunted by those old ads. I don't want to be a tosser, guys. I'm not a tosser. So I did drive all the way back, and luckily it was still there. So I have the pen cap, guys. I'm not a little bug. I swear to God. But yeah, I'm just going to tell you about this flower stand business because I just think it seems really cute. The signage there, it says that it's grown by Lightning Hollows. So Lightning Hollows, I guess, is a local flower farm that I believe still does normal floristry practices. And this is just me assuming. This flower stand seems to be possibly extra stock they have that they put into little bouquets and then they sell off at this honesty system, which I think if that is the case, it's a really good way to be sustainable in the fact that you're not wasting produce, but then also like nothing goes to waste. You get a little extra buck that you wouldn't have had from your business in the first place. So I just think it's a really nice stand, and it's so nice to see stuff like this. It's very country. It's just, I love it. I love it. But yeah, I don't know what it is about an honesty box, but it just calls to me, guys. I love an honesty box. I'm always charmed by them. Every time I see one, I feel compelled to buy something, even if it's not anything resembling what I need. I guess I just love an opportunity to prove my honesty. I don't know what to tell you guys. It really reminds me of the town I grew up in. It was a small town, but down the main street, there was always a trailer full of this guy's pumpkins that he grew, and it just had a little jar there to put your coins in. I think it was like a couple of bucks for a pumpkin. And as a kid, I just loved it so much. I couldn't believe that people would put stuff out and trust strangers, which is just such a nice sentiment. So this is how my painting ended up in this initial stage. I kept working on it after I got home. I did buy myself a little bouquet before I left. I didn't feel myself paying for it because someone showed up and I got scared. I'll be real with you. Okay, so this is how it turned out on the spot. Very loose, very, yeah, messy. I mean, but there was a while there that I thought it was going to turn out horrendous, and this is not as bad as it could have been. So this is clearly when I was still in denial and had hope. I was hoping that this was just an ugly stage and that the gouache would magically help me fix this. But alas, that was not the case for this piece. There was a lot working against me here. I hadn't plein aired in a long time, so I was a little rusty on it. I didn't plan out my negatives and my colors as well as I could have. Being on the side of the road there, I was a bit nervous, especially filming myself. So I think that kind of pressure didn't help. And as well, I have since learned that this sketchbook that I have, it's just a cheap one that I got from the dollar store, does not hold up to the watercolors. It bleeds everywhere. It's just not a good look. I've used a lot of cheap sketchbooks before and I pack it full of watercolor and most of the time it's not a problem. This one was just egregiously bad and I learned that on other pages as well. Luckily I wasn't too far into it and most of what I had in this sketchbook was literally just sketches. I hadn't yet painted it. So I bought a new sketchbook that should actually be able to hold watercolor and I've transferred all my sketches into that. So I'll still have my full sketchbook, not this piece, but I did end up turning this piece into something else. But so I don't want to show you a lot of this process because most of it is pointless and doesn't go anywhere. But got to show you guys anyway. Got to keep it honest. Ooh, honesty box on theme. Okay, guys, so I came back and I won't lie to you, I was humbled to say the least. The piece did not turn out how I thought it was going to. I thought I could maybe save it with more opaque gouache, turn it more into that kind of blocky look, but I think it's just not my vibe. I think I like the more look of the watercolors and it just turned out terribly. It didn't work. I've never used gouache before, so I think that helps, but it came out like this in the end. It's just really messy, so muddy, so much bleeding. I hated it. I really do. I hate it. What I think I should have done is thought of this plein air, the experience of sitting down with the plein air as the sketch and the way to get my colors and ideas down on the page, but not try to make this the finished piece. Because it wasn't great, but I think it was fine when I left the plein air session, like when I was out in public. But then I came home and I really tried to work at it to make it like good, and it just simply did not work. It just did not work, which is like totally fine. But I was a bit discouraged by that a little bit. But then instead of just calling it quits and going, oh, it's an ugly piece, because I really liked this idea. I wanted it to be a really pretty painting. I went at it again. And this time I approached it more like a proper sit-down watercolor painting where I planned out my colors, I planned out my shapes, I had my negative space like planned out. Everything was much better. And this piece I think turned out so cute. I really love how I finished this up. Let me find it in here. I know it helped that I used proper watercolor paper as well, I think. But where the hell is it? Oh, here it is. Guys. Just a reminder. This was our first one, right? The plein, it's fine. But, oh my God. Okay. Come on. I mean, I love how this turned out. I spent a lot more time on this, which I think also helps. It was sit down. I had the time between my layers to wait for it to all to dry. I just love it. And I love the colors that I chose. And I will say, I actually didn't end up using the videos or the photos as references for this painting. I only used the plein air painting I made, and then I made this painting. So it has its purpose. It has its purpose. And I think I should have just realized that ahead of time. But this painting, I'm just so happy with it. I think it turned out so cute. I'll give you guys a little close up, but the colors turned out much better. It just looks cleaner. It's more readable. And yeah, I think it's really cute. And don't worry, guys, I still only use my travel palette to paint this. I just planned it out a lot better and I think it turned out really, really cute. I'm so proud of it. So thank you for joining me on this journey, the highs and the lows. I had a lot of fun. See you guys next time. And you know what? This is me telling you to go out and buy yourself some flowers this week. Spruce up your space.